Everyone, I'm Milton Senli. With the help of my groupmates Nabat Kasimzadeh, Ülviye Mehmedov, Günay Ahmedzadeh, and Nadir Jabbarlı, we are going to talk about the air pollution in Azerbaijan. So let's get started. Firstly, I want to give the general information about the air pollution, what's the reasons of air pollution, and what are the results of air pollution. Air pollution is one of the most serious environmental problems facing our world today. Human activities such as mining, construction, transportation, industrial activities, as well as agriculture cause air pollution. Also, there are natural processes that affect air pollution, which are volcanic eruptions and forest fire. But the difference between human and natural processes are the human uh, processes affects air pollution every day, but natural processes are rare and have a local impact. So, in most cases, air pollutants cannot be seen or smelled. However, this doesn't mean that it's not found in high enough quantities to pose a health hazard. In addition, a number of gases cause the so-called greenhouse effect. As we know that greenhouse effect causes global warming and it affects climate change process, this means that this gas trap more heat and contribute to overall global warming. So the most common example of the greenhouse gas is carbon dioxide and methane. The carbon dioxide released from many industrial processes, and methane is the example of another greenhouse gas, and which is an explosive gas. So natural factors that can cause air pollution as well as human activities. So now I'm passing my turn to my next groupmate in order to talk about the air pollution in Azerbaijan.
Like other developing countries, Azerbaijan is one of the list of countries struggling with air pollution. Atmospheric pollution is among the top 5 environmental problems in Azerbaijan. It's a fact that Azerbaijani oil played an important role in the Second World War. As a result, it caused serious air pollution. In the 1940s, Baku, where the main oil refineries were located, began to be called the Black City due to the continuous visibility of smoke and soot. Also, pollution is the most often observed in the capital city of Baku, the industrial center of the former Soviet Union, as well as in Sumgayit, the center of chemical production. Due to the growth in the use of transport in those periods, emissions from cars and buses increased. For example, in 2002, 65% of the 120,000 tons of pollutants released into the atmosphere were automobile exhausted gases. Now let's examine several reasons for air pollution such as industry, energy, transportation. One of the main causes of air pollution in Azerbaijan is the oil industry. According to this research, air pollution in oil industry of Azerbaijan by Mustafayev and Yuzbashov in 2001. In the last 13 years in Azerbaijan, pollutants such as sulfur dioxide, carbon oxide, nitrogen oxide, and others have been released into the air by industrial facilities. In addition, it's fact that the largest hydrocarbon emitters are Azerneftyag oil refineries in the country. Moreover, in addition to the city of Baku, Sumgayit was known as a center of the chemical and petrochemical industry in 1950s. Industrial areas occupied more than 34% of the city, and annual air emissions were about 100,000 tons. At that time, this city had the highest morbidity rates. Therefore, in 1992, Sumgait was declared an ecological disaster zone. Later, new technologies were implemented to reduce emissions in the city. However, air pollution continued due to the uncontrolled emissions and persistent pollutants. Another motive for air pollution in the country is the energy sector. Azerbaijan's energy sector, consisting of the 8 thermal plants, has a production capacity of approximately 5.1 gigawatts. Two-thirds of it supplied with diesel fuel and natural gas as a secondary fuel. As the infrastructure of most thermal power plants in Azerbaijan is relatively old, they have high fuel consumption, low thermal efficiency, and high emissions. Therefore, since they run on oil, harmful gases such as nitrogen oxide and sulfide oxide are released into the air. However, a number of projects are being implemented to restore the energy sector of Azerbaijan. Thus, as a result of the decree adopted for the energy sector in 2002, the goal was set to transfer all the thermal power plants to natural gas fuel. Finally, one of the most important reasons for air pollution in Azerbaijan is transportation. Up to the 51% of the waste emitted in the atmosphere is accounted for by vehicles. Air pollution is more intense in the cities with heavy traffic, such as Baku. It is known that 10–30% of this pollution falls on the share of automobile transport. Moreover, it's clear that cars, buses, and other vehicles that run on gas and oil products emit a certain amount of toxic gases into the atmosphere.
Now I am going to give you information about the impacts of air pollution in Azerbaijan. Primarily, air pollution causes significant damage to all living things, including humans, animals, and plants. Harmful gases and substances emitted from various industrial sources pollute the air and change natural structure and composition of the atmosphere. For example, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, and ozone. As a result of the accumulation of these gases in the atmosphere, the effect of ozone molecules on animals and plants is increasing. Additionally, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, which turn into an acid, reach the ground together with rain, snow, and fog. This is called acid rain. Acid rain that falls on land causes the acidity of surface waters such as rivers and oceans. Also, trees die over time because they cannot get the necessary minerals from the soil. Moreover, one of the consequences of air pollution is climate change. The gases that cause climate change are called greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases prevent the rays reaching the Earth from the sun to be reflected back into space. This causes the Earth's atmosphere to warm. This situation is called the greenhouse effect, and the increasing in the average temperature of the Earth causes the glaciers to melt more and more rapidly. Furthermore, air pollution has a negative impact on human health. Children, elderly, pregnant women, and the sick are the most affected. According to research, there has been an increasing in the number of child deaths in the last 10 years. This is because air pollution leads to serious human health problems such as respiratory, cardiovascular, and metabolic diseases. It was also shown that people living in the cities with heavy traffic have more than average respiratory problems. Also, rising levels of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and PM10 lead to a significant increase in mortality from the respiratory diseases. In addition, air pollution has a harmful effect on the cardiovascular system. Here, sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide are the pollutants that affect the air most. Now I am going to give floor to my group mates to talk about their recommendation to reduce air pollution in Azerbaijan.
So, as already mentioned, our homes, clothes, and technologies and recreation depends on the nature. However, nature strives to maintain balance, as a human activity significantly affects the fragile of ecological balance, which in turn reflected in our well-being and prosperity. The part where these effects are most evident is in the air. Scientists believe that the number of deaths will continue to increase as a result of effects of polluted air on the body. It can affect virtually every organ of human body. Some air pollutants inhaled by humans, can enter bloodstream through the lung. Thus, potentially toxic air can adversely affect the function of three vital organs: lung, brain, and heart. Especially by the middle of the 1990s, life expectancy had been steadily declining, and there was a high occurrence of congenital cancer. For this reason, a number of measures should be taken to reduce and prevent the number of deaths and illnesses. One of the solutions is buying energy-efficient electric-based vehicles. According to the research, motor vehicle emissions are main air pollutant. To be more clear, the wind is the source of dust in the air and also affect the distance it travels. Normally, air pollution from industrial operations that emit invisible gases, pollutants, and chemicals into the atmosphere is more serious. This includes the harmful carbon monoxide that millions of automobiles emit into the environment. Taking this into consideration, the use of electric vehicles, which have a green credential, should be supported. The use of renewable energy sources can improve the use of this vehicle and make them more eco-friendly. There are future opportunities to further reduce the environmental impact of the battery electric vehicles, or BEVC. Plus, it runs on clean energy sources and doesn't emit toxic gases or fumes into the environment. In another word, despite the traditional cars, which requires a method of converting fuel into the energy, BEVC run on electricity way and didn't require any gasoline. Furthermore, using public transport instead of private cars also helps to reduce air pollution. Obviously, not everyone can afford the private cars. For this reason, the state provides people with a public transport on the condition that they pay a reasonable fare. If people use their income instead of buying motor cars, they can use a public transport and public buses and trains that are available to the public. Let's say if 4 or 5 people will travel in a private car, this figure is between 20 and 25 for a bus and more for train. More clearly, buses emit only 20% of more carbon monoxide per kilometers of passengers than single passengers of car. So with this action, at the same time, the traffic in the cities and streets of Azerbaijan will decrease. Fiona Gadlis research showed that the attempts to reduce mobile pollution sources through the technical solutions are only effective in the short term. The simple and powerful long-term period answer is to treat the air pollutant is to lessen traffic. Plus, the road traffic emits 150 of carbon dioxide, 1/3 of particulate matter and volatile organic compounds, and half of the nitrogen oxides, and nearly all of the carbon monoxide in the air.
Hi everyone, I am Ilviya Mehmedova, and today I will give you 2 more recommendations in order to prevent the air pollution in Azerbaijan. So let's start. Another solution can be increasing the tax on the gas emissions, especially the carbon dioxide. In the world, a lot of companies are providing the air with negative gas emissions, such as the carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and so on. And also, a lot of agreements have been signed among countries to reduce the air pollution. Normally, the companies don't take many action regarding of the problem. But if they see that that gas emissions are reducing their profit, then they will be more willing to use the renewable energy sources. And also today, in almost all countries, governments impose the taxes on pollution. The point is that it's not as high as to go to the renewable energy sources. And also in our economy books, we all studied that people respond to incentives, and companies are administered by people, and tax is a decent incentive to respond. So basically, taxes on gas emission here is a good incentive to reduce the gas emissions by corporations, as normally they are the ones that who provides a lot of gas emissions to the air. So via taxes on gas emissions, countries, especially the Azerbaijan, will be able to reduce the air pollution, because the corporations will either reduce their gas emissions or have a shift from non-renewable energy sources to renewable energy sources, which will eventually assist to decrease the air pollution. The last but not least solution is to plant the trees. Although at first glance it looks like an ordinary and easy solution, we should accept that the oxygen we need is coming from the plants. And if you want to prevent air pollution alongside with having a shift to renewable energy, using public transportations, and imposing taxes on gas emissions by corporations, we also need to plant trees and take care of them. Moreover, and we all know that because a lot of fire issues and building new constructions, the number of the forests in the world are decreasing, and the loss of forests and plants lead to have less oxygen and more carbon dioxide, which is a kind of harmful gas, as plants generally take the carbon dioxide and provide the air with oxygen, the gas that human needs to survive. So planting trees will be a positive action in the battle with the air pollution. And as we see, if countries, especially the Azerbaijan in general, start to plant trees and increase the number of the forests and plants in the country, then it will have a positive influence on air pollution. And in general, we need to use this solution in order to deal with the air pollution, because it's not something that we can ignore and pretend like it's not there, as it negatively affects and will affect more to the people. So that's all from my part, and thank you for your attention.